What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ring the Bell Show. I'm Chris Francesco. Jason Kent is here with you. And look, we haven't been on since the Philadelphia Phillies clinched a playoff spot for the second consecutive year. Thank you, hon. And look, it's the last time the Phillies clinched back-to-back seasons a playoff spot. One of those ended up in a World Series. So
World Series win, too.
Exactly, a World Series victory. So before we talk about the Pirates series, which just ended, the Phillies lost Game 3 of this 3-game set, but still they took care of business the first 2 games. Jay, I want to talk to you, man. I haven't been able to talk to you as much. What were your thoughts about this team clinching that number 1 wild card spot?
I enjoyed it. To me, last year, even though we made that World Series run, we were still that 3rd seed. It took that new rule for us to actually make the playoffs. So locking down that number 1 wild card spot, I think is fantastic. And now, like we said before, we wanted them to get it done early, so that way, Wheeler was able to come out early tonight. We know what the rotation looks like 1, 2, and really 3. So they know what we're doing. We could set it up perfectly, and we didn't have to drag it out to that last series of the year.
Nah, for sure, man. And I'm certain that this Phillies team is going to hit that 90 win marker. So, that's super exciting. I know in the beginning of the season, you and I predicted anywhere between 90 and 93 wins. I still think they can get to that, 90, 91, which would be tremendous. So look, this is a team that is built from a National League standpoint. Look, Dean doesn't have enough of a migraine to put a message.
Watching the show. At least he's watching the show.
Usually with migraines, you really can't see that well. Your vision.
He's in the dark. He's in a dark room. Very dim light. Very dim phone light.
It's a completely dark room, and he's listening to us. We might not ever hear from him again. And you look at this team, Jay. Are they going to end up, right where you thought they were going to be?
I still think they can. I think what was the stat we showed? There really only 4 teams in baseball have a better record than the Phillies. So exactly. It's when you look at it, did they finish with the amount of wins I thought they would? No. But did I think the 4th best team in baseball, 5th best team in baseball, with the way this season go, it doesn't feel like it. But at this point, you really can't argue with all of the numbers. But so I'm excited. They are really. That's about where I thought they would be. They would be that team. So I think they have a great shot. At least making a run. We showed, like you said last year, we faced Atlanta. We took them out last year. This team can hit. They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah,
just like last year. So it's feeling good right now. I'm really excited to see what happens.
I'm with you. And before we kind of talk about. I'm sorry. So before we,
I know. Then the next one is even better.
Yeah, I know.
Anthony Munstein.
Yeah, I know. So before we really don't have much to break down in this series. They had a huge win. What was it, Wednesday night with that Bryce Harper home run to put them up 7-6, and they ended up taking that game. But the one thing, if I'm going to be
encouraged about Nola, but though I was super that to me. I think if we're talking anything, I'm like, I don't want to be negative. I want to be encouraging.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Encouraging Nola. I was happy to see that start right before the playoffs. Like you said, we needed a better start from him going into the playoffs. So to get him 6 2/3, 8 Ks, 4 hits, 1 earned run, I'm happy with the way he ended his season, and now I'm a little more confident with him going into the playoffs, even though I don't trust him. He's looking better going in. So that's a positive sign.
Yeah. Like I tweeted, I'm very glad that he had a very good start against the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's very, very positive to know that. So no, look, it was anytime you can get a really good start from an Aaron Nola or even a Zach Wheeler going into Red October, my spirits are going to be up a little bit higher. But I do want to ask you though. My one negative I was going to talk about is what is Topper do about Craig Kimbrell going into the postseason? Because I'm at the point now. I mean, I've been at this point for over a month with Kimbrell. That the second we get into that ninth inning and he's getting to that mound, I'm absolutely terrified at what the outcome's going to be. Have you reached that point of that panic button the second you see a 1 or 2 run lead and Kimbrell's coming to the mound?
We're gonna trash the dude when he had 2 strikeouts tonight. Is that what we're doing?
Still lost.
No, yes, and like they said, I was listening to some of it. They even said, come playoffs. Right now, I'm not encouraged with what I've seen from him. It's another one of those Philly move over the last few years where they sign a closer or a reliever that's supposed to be locked down, and they come here and they just don't look different. And I think a lot of that it gets magnified in the playoffs, and now. We're going to be seeing the best of the best. If we win,
right.
we either have to play Atlanta or the Dodgers. So that to me worries me. And then he can't hold guys on base. So when you look at a team like Atlanta, you have 70 stolen bags from Kuna. All those boys can hit home runs. They have 5 different guys that have 30 home runs. Yes, he worries me a lot in the playoffs coming down the stretch. A lot of the bullpen do though. So it's not even just him. It's a lot of guys you're not comfortable going to.
For sure. And look, I don't care what anybody says. You can come at me. My Twitter handle is right there on the screen. I think Matt Olson should be the NL MVP, if you're asking me. To hit 54 and about 140 RBIs, my goodness. Yeah, cool. 70 stolen bases. I get it. But I mean, everyone's stealing bases.
He's the first man ever to have a 40-70 season.
No.
He's a leadoff hitter.
People are stealing at a record rate this year.
Not more than him, though. Not more than him.
Let's appreciate John. The show started at 9:00.
You look shocked that the show even going on. This dude comes in like he just woke up.
Thanks for telling me. I'm sitting here just waiting, like for the text. Oh, I sent the invite out, and all of a sudden I look at my phone on Facebook, and you guys are live on Facebook.
I'm guessing AOL doesn't have a mail app that you can download.
Aren't they the We Got Mail?
No,
shouldn't that have popped up?
I don't get the notification across my phone that emails come through. I go on my thing and I see what emails come through, and
I understand. It's okay.
I get like 50 emails a day. I don't need to keep my phone going off all day long with emails.
Yeah, who sends emails these days?
I send.
I'm sorry,
I never every day. Well, at work that counts.
Anthony with the message of the year. All right, John. So I'm gonna ask you. We'll kind of circle back now to what we were talking about right before you hopped on. If there's a worry, if there's a singular worry now, as we look forward to the postseason beginning next Tuesday, actually. Is there anybody that you're worried about more right now than Craig Kimbrell coming in that's going to come into a close game?
I mean, yes, because I don't think he's an 8th inning guy. I think he's a 9th inning guy. He hasn't done well in the 8th innings, the way they've been using him. So it kind of scares me a little bit. I don't know if Robert's going to put him back in as the closer once the postseason starts. We'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, Alvarado's been locking it down recently, so I like seeing him there. I like this young kid. I'm not even going to attempt to say his name because I don't. Because Orion. I know his first name's Orion, but I don't know how to say his last name. But like this guy can play. His slider is wicked, and he throws about 100 miles an hour. Yeah. So I'm hoping we get to see more of him in the postseason. Maybe in the 7th inning role, maybe work him in there. We'll see what happens. Sir Anthony scares me. Soto scares me, so I mean, I don't expect to see Soto in any high leverage situations at all. Maybe in like the 6th inning.
I agree.
I don't agree. But I mean, Sir Anthony, I guess he's your 7th inning guy, right? I mean, who else do you go? I mean,
with Hoffman or is
Jeff
Hoffman
Trevor Hoffman? I mean, maybe you go Jeff Trevor Hoffman in the 8th. So I mean, I don't know. But Alvarado has to be your 9th inning guy. We'll see what he does. Maybe because Kimbrell has the postseason experience. He's won a World Series. He's closed in the World Series. Maybe he goes with Kimbrel as the closer to start off. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, it doesn't come to bite us in the
Right.
butt, but we'll see.
No, yeah, I mean that's something we're going to have to look out for. We obviously know what the lineups will most likely look like. We've seen versus a lefty versus a righty what these lineups are going to do. Against looks like against lefties, Harper will bat fourth. Against righties, he's going to hit third. Other than that, guys, I mean, look, I'm not obviously we're here to talk about the Pirates series. I mean, we can kind of just gloss over that real quick because that's really not the focus right now. The Phillies have already clinched that number one wild card spot. They begin their postseason, their run to the World Series next Tuesday night. Presumably, can we all, I guess, assume it's going to be the Diamondbacks?
It would
I
look
don't know.
like
I
it.
mean, they lost
I mean,
today.
there's a yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that need
And
to happen.
They've
I
been
would
hot,
like the
though.
Diamondbacks though too, because that means Gallen has to pitch tomorrow. He will not be
Yep.
pitching game 1, or I don't think he's going to pitch game 2 either. So
Yep.
that's looking good for the Phils. I would like to play the Diamondbacks because the Cubs scare me. They've put some pretty good lefties in their rotation and their staff. So I know Schwarber, he struggles against lefties. I don't want to see him facing lefties early. I don't want to see him at all in like the playoffs, really. But he's going to have to eventually. But that's one thing that scares me. So I think that it's going to probably be the Diamondbacks, I would assume, and they're a young team. So I think the Phillies, who have a lot of guys with postseason experience, can take advantage of that situation. And it'll be an interesting series.
No, I agree. So, look, I kind of also want to talk about, and we're going to kind of, we'll touch on a few different things here. I really want to talk about what happened in Thursday night's game between Bryce Harper and third base umpire Angel Hernandez. That scumbag of a human, Angel Hernandez. And so anyone who paid tickets to, paid good money tonight to watch the Angel Hernandez show, you got it. You got your money's worth tonight to see this absolute garbage of an umpire once again make everything about him. Jay, I know you were out like kicking people and doing all that fun happy horse shit, but did you by chance see the play or the moment where Bryce was ejected?
I did not know.
Okay, well, if you could find it while we're talking, I'll talk to John. If you can find it, you will absolutely be flabbergasted at what you see. John, is that the worst blown call you've ever seen?
I don't know. It's up there. I mean, there has been Angel. I mean, but I saw an Angel Hernandez clip this year. The ball was 6 feet off the plate. Like in any other in high school, that's a ball. Like that's how. Like it's not even like it was so bad. Like I see it all the time. Like, and I said earlier, I mean, if you're an MLB umpire and you're a fan of baseball and you know an umpire's name, like I know two names. I know J.C. Buckner, is it? But whatever his name, Buckner, and Angel Hernandez. And why? Because they're absolutely horrible. And I don't understand. This is what pisses me off. These guys get paid. It's their job. Why aren't they fired? I don't get it. Like if I don't do my job and I'm doing it poorly, I get fired. Like I just don't understand why this consistently happens over and over again. And you have the guys on Twitter, who keep track of all the missed calls, and people are keeping track of all these missed calls and how bad it is. Like, I just don't understand why. And I'm completely against robo-umps because why? That brings the fun out of it. You know when it's going to be a broad strike. And I know players, you're still going to get mad at the robo-umps and all that other stuff where they don't think it's a strike and all that other things. Like it's just why? Like
you got to be able to challenge that. That was awful. You got to be like that. Like I get it. It's the umpire that you should be able to challenge. He didn't even there's nothing there that tells me, guys, stop. I'm amazing. Okay. That's what I am. But no, that's so bad. Like it didn't even, it wasn't even halfway. Like there was nothing there. He didn't cross it. Nothing broke. Like that's a terrible call. Like you got to be able to challenge that. Like you can't and I get it, but we're at a day and age where we have replay and you're using it for almost everything. A play like a check swing, you know the determination if it's a swing or not. Something like that is a terrible call, and you can't lose on that.
But like I was gonna say, guys, he literally barely took the bat off of his shoulders. I mean, legitimately barely took the bat off of his shoulders. It was a called third strike on a full count in the bottom of the third inning. He he began unstrapping like his ankle protectors as he was about to walk down first base, and then he found out that he was called out on a swing. I mean, I thought Bryce was going to go down and just Goldberg the hell out of Angel Hernandez and just spear him. But I mean, that was intense. I mean, Harper
He
was in
should
his
have.
face. I know, right? So, like, I I just can't believe how that happened. If this was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that's an important moment of a game. That could help, that
It's a
could
tough
be a
call.
determining factor for the rest of an important game going into, fighting for a wild card spot. Thank God this was, I don't want to say the word meaningless, but it's a meaningless game for the Phillies, but still, I'm assuming Angel Hernandez is going to be umpiring games in the postseason. So this
Why?
is,
Why?
I know, I'm just saying, like, this is something that's going to have to be paid attention to, because anytime a guy like that is an umpire, at
Uh,
some point they are going to make it about them. And I'm just terrified to see this down the line. I really am.
He's
but I
horrible everywhere. Like some guys are horrible behind the plate, but like he's horrible everywhere. It
I
just
know.
doesn't make sense.
the
Yeah,
biggest issue with it though is replay. Like I don't think there was that, like, because now everything is so televised and it's so seen. It does. I feel at some point you may have to go to those robo umpires because it's going to be so scrutinized because it's just the human error of it or the human like you can't get that out of it. And it's the great thing about baseball, but that's where situations like this do arise.
I agree. Look, it was just horrible. I don't want to spend any more time on an umpire, but nonetheless, I kind of want to shift gears a little bit. Reese Hoskins, it came out today. He took batting practice. They showed him hit
Crushed
quite a
him.
few. I mean, he was barreling baseballs
Crushed.
during BP today. He
I
could
could
be
do that
ready.
too.
Yeah.
And BP,
He
come on. I barrel baseballs in BP.
Yep. He could be ready for some live pitching very soon. He will most likely go to Clearwater for some work. Rob Thompson said that Reese looks great. We've heard before that there's an outside chance that he could be ready for a World Series appearance. Obviously, that would be as a pinch hitter or a DH. I'll ask you guys, do you think there's any chance Reese Hoskins sees a lineup if the Phillies make the World Series?
Um, I mean, it'd be great to have him in the lineup and everything, but I don't want to see him at DH because I want Schwarber to be at DH. I don't want to take that defense away from Rojas and Martian left. I think that's going to be a tremendous key to them in the postseason. And I don't want to see that opportunity taken away. And I wish they never mentioned anything. I wish, because now people are gonna be like, oh,
I
Reese is gonna
know.
come back. I wish he just
Yeah.
he would have been like, oh, I have no idea where his progress is. I mean, he's been looking good. He's going to take BP, but I don't know how he's gonna feel, and I don't know if he'll be able to play this season. We'll
Yeah.
keep you. And then he comes back. Like I wish they would have kept it a little quieter, because now people are gonna be like, oh, let's go. We're gonna go to the World Series. Reese is gonna be back. Let's go. Like everybody's gonna be all excited and juiced up, and then what happens when he doesn't come back? Everybody's going to complain, oh, why didn't Reese come back? He said he was going to be ready for it's going to be one of those situations.
Of course.
But I think all season that, even since he got injured, I think the expectation was always if they made a run, he could be back. So I think that's always been the expectation since he went down. But you're absolutely right. I don't want to see him in the lineup. I would love to have his bat off the bench, because when Reese is hot, he can hit and he gets on base a lot. So, if he could steal a game with his power, last season he had some big moments in the playoffs. I would 100% have him on the bench if he's ready. Like, I don't want to just get him in there just to have him on there. You got to be ready to go and play and hit. Like, you need to be 100%. This is, we're playing for a championship now. But if he's ready, I 100% expect him to be available as a pinch hitter come World Series time.
Yeah, it could be a situation too where it's like it could do more damage than help the team if he's in the lineup. Like you don't.
Because that's a roster spot.
That's
another
pitching,
thing.
Like live pitching.
Since March.
Live pitch March. So,
March.
And you're going to throw him in a world. There's no more minor leagues for him to get those opportunities.
Well,
Come on,
I mean,
like
that's a
BFJ Cave.
given.
I'm okay
But he's not
getting
gonna
rid of
play.
that roster spot.
Way to pander to our other co-host, Jason, by mentioning Jake Cave.
He's the worst. The very bottom of AAA, horrible in MLB though.
All right. So before we get to the end here, I do want to talk about the pitching rotation. We'll be talking more. We'll most likely be doing our wild card preview on Sunday, but let's kind of talk about it now. We already know it's going to be Wheeler. It's going to be Nola. Ranger will most likely, and it hasn't necessarily been announced yet, but Ranger will most likely be the third starter there, which is fine. That's what I expected, and that's what I'm happy with. But do you look at that? And I'll go to you, John, because I know Jason's thoughts, and I'll get his last. John, is it kind of odd that you paid $72 million for Taijuan Walker in the offseason and he's not even going to be your game 3 starter? To be honest, I wouldn't even make him my game 4 starter. I actually might trust Christopher Sanchez right now over Taijuan Walker. But does it kind of rub you the wrong way a little bit that a $72 million guy can't even start game 3 of a wild card round?
I honestly never thought of it that way, but then again, Ranger has been in that spot for the past 3 seasons. He's been your number 3 guy for the past 3 seasons. So I mean, they're going to go with the guy you trust the most, even though you did pay that guy all that money. But Ranger was always going to be the number 3. I felt like this season, even with Walker, I always thought Walker was going to be the 4. I actually don't think Ranger's going to pitch game 3 because I think Ranger's going to be the closer game 2 for the clincher. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think he's pitching game 2 no matter what, because if they lose game 1, I think Ranger comes in and still closes game 2 and Walker injure game. I think that's just going to be his role. It's where he's going to be a starter, but if there's a situation where he can come in and close, he's going to come in and close. And that's going to be the whole postseason.
Jay, I mean, you and I spoke about this, but what are your thoughts on it? Because I know it's something that you thought about right away, and I thought about it as soon as you mentioned Taijuan in game 3. I'm thinking, that kind of that stings a little bit.
Yeah, while I 100, like I said last time on the last episode, to me personally, I go Ranger. I think what John said is 100% correct. He last postseason, he was one of the best pitchers on this roster. He's heating up. And I wanted him to go because I think he's a better pitcher than Taijuan. But when I first saw it, it kind of boggled me. You go out and you pay this dude almost $20 million a year to come in and be your guy. While I wanted Ranger to always be the number 3 over him, I just assumed, okay, you're paying this guy, you're putting faith in this man. I was a little shocked that he's not sending him out number 3. I'm happy he's not, but to me that tells me more about how they feel about him. After paying them all that money, and it's maybe not what they thought they were getting from them.
Yeah, I agree. And again, at this point, John, I'll ask you and go right back to Jay. If it's game 4, and I guess if we're going into the divisional round, do you think Christopher Sanchez sees a start in the postseason? Because I'll tell you what. I feel and I mean this, we've been pretty high on Chris Sanchez the past couple months. I'm significantly more comfortable getting 4 or 5 decent innings right now out of Chris Sanchez than I am Taijuan Walker.
You're getting 5 innings and he's giving up 2 runs almost every. That's almost a guarantee. It's 2 runs,
he's not throwing 25 pitches in a first inning.
Yeah, he's been a lot better than what I expected, and I hated him because you traded a top 25 prospect for him, and it bothered me so much that they did that. But I mean, it's starting to work out. So I mean, I think he deserves an opportunity, and he's never pitched well out of the bullpen, so I don't see why you would even throw him in the bullpen at all. Like, why? He's never been good out of the bullpen, so I don't see why you would throw him in there to possibly hurt us. But I like to see him get an opportunity. I mean, they might go 5-man rotation. Who knows what they're going to do? Who knows? I mean, I think you have to pitch Walker at some point as a starter because you are paying him all that money, and he's on the team next year, and he's on the team for 4 years, right? It's a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So you have to pitch him. I mean, it's a complete waste if you pay a guy $18 million to not even start in the postseason. He's just going to be a bullpen guy. I don't see the point.
That I don't see happening. But at the end of the day, I'm actually very happy that we even have this issue the fact that we might have a guy like Chris Sanchez that can start a game over Taijuan Walker. I assume because we all know Robert, he's going to give it to the vet. He's going to give it to a guy like Taijuan if it comes out that way.
Oh, of course.
I just think the
But
upside, though, when you look at the upside, the guy that
I
can give
agree.
me a more dominant
Mhm,
performance, I do think it is Sanchez. So,
mhm.
and I agree with John. Like, you're not going to pay him all that money and not pitch him. But I 100% would be okay if he came out of the bullpen. If or if you go 5-man, maybe try to get sneak Wheeler in a couple starts. But I would be okay 4-man and just Chris Sanchez being that fourth guy and T1 coming out of the bullpen. Like I'm not worried if I hurt your ego. This is about winning a championship. We're
Yeah.
professionals here, and the guy that to me, the guy that gives me the better chance to have a better start is Chris Sanchez. So to
Yeah.
me, I can't worry about hurt
Yeah.
feelings right now.
And Walker doesn't seem like he's an egotistical guy. Like
No.
he seems like he's more like a team guy, laid back, kind of quiet. So I think he would be okay with that situation. It just would
Yeah.
be like, wow, you paid that guy that money to come in the fifth inning. Like that's what I
For
would
sure.
look at.
And I agree with you. And it's not a surprise that, the decision makers within the Phillies, coaching staff are very conscious lately of how many innings Sanchez has pitched. He's at 148, which is more than 50 above his previous career high. He is pitching 1 or 2 innings, I think, in relief of Taijuan Friday night, I think, against the Mets in New York. I know Topper did say he wants him to approach it the same way he would approach a start, and sees Friday as a chance to kind of get him reacclimated to like a shorter warm-up period. So I'm
He's going to be a
guessing,
bullpen guy. That's what it
yeah.
sounds
So
like.
because of, I guess, his stamina, maybe the amount of innings he's pitched, he could be used as a multi-inning bridge reliever. But like, isn't that what they're going to kind of be doing with Ranger? So that's 2 lefties that you're going to use as multi-inning guys. I mean, if you're not going to give Ranger a
And
start,
Strom's
I think
a lefty too.
I do
Yeah.
think
Easy.
Ranger gets some starts. He has to get I like the idea like last season where they did use him a little bit coming out to close games. But
Yeah.
to me, Ranger he's got to be starting more often than not. I'd rather not him be a bullpen guy. I'd much rather him be my starter.
Yeah. So, Sanchez has pitched more than well enough over the last 3 minutes. 3 minutes, definitely easy for me to say. Over the last 3 months, to make this decision tough. Since returning, to the Phillies on June 17th, he's actually grown into one of the better pitchers in baseball. He's got a 3.3 ERA with a 1.02 WHIP, with 90 strikeouts and just 14 walks in 94 innings.
Damn.
When you look at that, I just don't see how you could start Taijuan Walker in a game over Chris Sanchez. That's just my opinion.
This is one thing I will say. They score runs when Taijuan pitches. That's the only.
Yeah,
They
clearly.
score runs.
Clearly.
They score runs when he pitches.
That's very, very clear. And look, no matter who would start a potential game 3, I really hope it doesn't get to a game 3. It would be one of those like all hands on deck approach because there's no tomorrow at that point. So you got to go with a Taijuan. You got to go with Sanchez. You got to go with Strom. You got to throw whoever you can in that game. So look, if the Phillies do sweep the wild card series, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. Suarez or Walker is going to start game 1 of the NLDS. It's absolutely one of those guys. And you hope it's Ranger. I mean, I really don't want game 1 in Atlanta being Taijuan Walker getting to the mound there against
that. No, you know why I would go Walker.
Okay.
Game 1.
And why?
The Braves crushed left-handed pitching.
Makes
so
sense.
Why give them the opportunity? You pitch them game 2. You pitch them game 2. Why let them get like hot right away in that series? So I mean, they're already concerned last year. They're ready to go this year. They're already concerned because last year they had those days off, and they just came out this week and said we're playing simulated games for the fans. You guys can come to the stadium. We're going to play simulated games. They're all playing. We're playing simulated games. So they're going to be ready to go. And they have bullets, and they have that recent Lamb in their locker room. They look at it every single day. I'm sure they are ready to go, and the Phillies better be ready to go in that series. They want the revenge, and the Phillies need to remember what they did when they clinched that division on that field. They did that on their field, and it's embarrassing for them to even like allow that. So they need to come back and be ready.
I mean, look, if we can get a clip of this show right here, it's that entire statement by you, John, because you're right. It's if they get by, if the Phillies can, I would love to see a sweep of that wild card round. I would suck for John because he has tickets to game 3. But look, if there's any time you can be mad about that, it's the fact that they won the first 2 games. So if you can get to game 1 on a high like that against in the NLDS, I'm with you, man. I really hope this is a situation where the Phillies remember very well what happened on in the middle of that pitcher's mound at Citizens Bank Park when the Braves clinched that division. So I'm
That
very much
scumbag
looking forward.
Acuna, I hate him.
I agree. Let me before you hopped on here, I was debating with Jason before we get out of here. Do you think would you put Olsen over Acuna for MVP?
Yes.
There we go.
I think so. But he's not going to. What Acuna's done this season is absolutely historic. It's
hands
unbelievable.
Down. Yeah.
But I just think, I mean, the guy's gonna look his Stanton numbers and Stanton won in 2017. Like those numbers don't get repeated often. And I think he has more RBIs than Stanton had. Those numbers don't get repeated. He's been unbelievable this year. But I mean, but Betts has been unbelievable. Freddie's been unbelievable.
I'm just gonna ask one question. Who was the last player to ever hit 40 home runs and steal 70 bases?
So if he hits, what if he hit 210? What if he's hitting 210?
Yeah,
if he's stealing 70 bases while hitting 210, it's a little bit different and playing great center field and getting on base over 400%. So we could do that. Okay.
Oh, and so now 210's okay.
If you're stealing 70 bags, I would be okay with 210. I'm not okay under 200.
I don't know.
But to John's point about the Braves killing left-handed pitching, T1 also has 5.4 ERA career against the Braves. So they also killed T1 Walker. There's not a guy I want to see.
It seems like anybody who plays for them just kills the Phillies. I mean, Freddie Freeman did it for years. I mean, Acuna's going to continue doing it for years. Olsen's going to. It's just like Chipper did it for years.
But Chipper was the ultimate Philly killer.
Yeah, like, dude, he's batting Acuna's batting 336. He's got 34 doubles. He's got over 100 RBIs at the leadoff spot. He's a leadoff hitter. He's what you want. Like, but that guy, he's batting over or on base over 400. Like this guy,
he's gonna win it.
He's gonna win it.
I still would take Olsen, but I mean, he's gonna win it. I mean,
if I put Acuna at the 4-hole, he's got just as many RBIs as Olsen. It's impressive that he has over 100 RBIs at leadoff.
That's how good their lineup is. I mean, you got like Michael Harris at the bottom of the lineup. I mean, and RC is hitting unbelievable. They think, see Swanson, we got RC, and he's gonna hit 20. Hits 20 home runs and it's 270. Like it's a situation. Like it's unbelievable how these guys
is trash. Well, that's such a good comment.
That was sent in by our good friend and host Christy Francesco.
As I'm saying it, I was laughing.
I know
it's great, but the dude's just special.
He is very special player. All right, last thing before we get out of here, Alec Boehm is sitting at 95 RBIs. Does he get to 100 by the end of the weekend?
Yes. I projected 95. I projected like 95, 98. I'm going for 100. Let's get it. He's going to have a 5 RBI game. He's going to hit a grand slam and then a 2-run home run one of these games. He's going to crush
20, right?
Huh?
He's 1 home run away from 20, right? He's at 19 home runs, right?
He's at 19 home runs.
I think you have a better chance of him getting 20 home runs than him getting 100 RBIs.
He's going to get both.
We'll see. That'd be really cool. What was the last time the Phillies ever had 3 players with 100 RBIs in the season?
In a minute.
2007 was the last time the Phillies had
the 2
players with 100 RBIs. That was
it was 2005. Mm-hmm.
Who was it? Tony?
Nope. It was Howard, Utley, and
Howard and 5.
No, Burrow. I don't know why.
No shot. It was Howard and 5.
Ryan Howard.
He wasn't into. He won rookie year 2006. So there's no way.
Oh, sorry. So it might have been 2006. Let me check. Yes. No. Wait. Hold on. No, I thought it was 2000.
I thought you said 2005 last game too, or last episode. I remember talking about it.
Because Howard was not the major in 2005 because Tommy was still there, so there's no shot that it was.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure this out.
It might have been Homie. It might have been Burl, Tommy, and Rollins.
Homie.
No,
it's not. So maybe it hasn't happened. I'm at I'm at 08. It wasn't 08.
Because
Yeah, you
07
said
was
like
07 was Howard and Rollins, right? Or was it Howard and
let's see.
there's Howard and
Yeah,
Nutley.
because Howard and Utley was
Yeah,
like
it was
almost
last one
every
to it.
year for like 4 years in a row. No, here it is. I'm sorry. And yeah, it was 05. It was Utley with 105, Burrow 117, and Abreu with 102.
Yeah, Abreu. So I remember hearing Abreu's
Yep.
name last time.
Yep. So yeah. So
That's
the
what I
last time
said.
it happened, I was right. I just got the one player wrong. It was
Oh, he had 100 RBIs
2005.
in 05?
Yeah, he had 105.
Wow.
Because he's a Hall of Fame player.
And
No,
they
he's
missed the
not.
playoffs too. That's wild. You have 3 guys on your team who have 100 RBIs and you missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
That'll never happen again.
No. Utley
But you're saying
is
Utley?
he's not a
You're
Hall of
saying
Fame.
Utley to the Hall of Fame? He's
No,
not.
No.
He's not
he does
2,000
Silver
hits.
Fox, guys.
He had a
2,000 hits.
he had a 5-year stretch. That's all. And he was very poor. He was a defensive liability in terms
And he
of
smoked-
defensive
and he
war.
smoked cigarettes
The
in the
greatest
dugout.
defensive play we've had in our history was him throwing out that guy at home plate.
That's not true.
It is. I'm not going. I don't care.
Was it Eric Bruntley with his unassisted triple play? Is the greatest play I've ever watched in the history of baseball.
No, Aaron Rowan running that fence was pretty amazing.
Aaron
Rowan
Rowan smashing his equilibrium.
Breaking his nose. Yeah, I'll take that one.
Yeah, underneath that padding in center field is epidermis from Aaron Rowan still. It's so awful. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you want to head to manscaped.com, use our code baseball20 for 20% off and free shipping on your order. Head to SeatGeek.com right now. Use our code on the bump for $20 off your very first ticket purchase. We're looking forward to Sunday. Sunday, it's going to be our wild card round preview. We'll give our predictions. A little spoiler alert. I'm going to pick the Phillies because in March, I picked the Phillies to win the World Series, and I've stuck with it ever since. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, you have. I'm gonna agree with that, Dean.
If you want to know something, I don't know what game today was. What's it like? 158, I believe.
159.
Yeah.
So through 159, the Phillies have had the same record in 1980, 2008, and 2023. If you didn't know that, and also
stats,
you can have stats tell you anything you want to hear.
And also the second, what was it? The second last time the Phillies went to consecutive postseasons, they won the World Series the second time around.
Yep, we talked about that before you showed up late to work tonight. So we talked about it. 9 o'clock is 9 o'clock.
Chris says, I'm running late, works, whatever. It's like, all right, Chris will text us when the email said, and then like I don't even get a text like, hey John, like, are you coming on? Like before you even start, nothing.
Yeah, I did look. It was like 20 minutes before I even thought it was going to be sent out. I was expecting not to even be there yet, and it was like sent 15 minutes ago. I was quite shocked as well.
Look, Jason can shred me for a lot of things, which he does 99% of my life. But if I don't send a message saying I'm going to be late, we're going at the time that it's time to go. So remember that. Like if I say 9 and you don't hear from me that it's going to be late, then we're going on time here. I need that initiative, John. I need that. I can't have two Deans on this show.
I was sitting there watching the football game, rooting on my fantasy players, and then I was like, what's going on here? And I'm like, I look at my phone, go on Facebook, and I'm like, this guy, he didn't even tell me they were going live.
Oh, that's good stuff. But all right, guys, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to Sunday as we get prepared for Red October, and the Phillies will be hosting the wild card round. So Citizens Bank Park is going to be pure, beautiful chaos, and just can't wait to witness that. So we're looking forward to that. Go ahead, John.
One more thing. Let's give Schwarber a standing ovation for his first at bat in that series. Let's do it.
Count me in. What happens if he smashes a leadoff home run, John?
I'll run to your house. I'll run across the street to your parents' house naked.
Oh, okay. That's different than any other day. All right, Jason, John, appreciate it, guys. I'm sure I'll see you guys on Sunday. Hope everybody has a great rest of their week, and we'll catch you all then. And as always,